Good time zone, sweet world. It is Friday, August 1st, 2025. Hello, welcome to this nightmare show that is a Twitch stream that happens on Fridays. Hello, So Hard 22. We are in glorious 2K. Good now. I like it. Good now. We're now in 2K, it seems. I forgot that I got into this test, and so I thought I'd throw it up. And well, that also comes with all kinds of stuff moving into different places on your screen where it was not before. So I thought, no problem, like Daniel Jr. Stretch. But no, there's some problems. That's okay. It's not a huge deal. Just stuff in places where it shouldn't be. Let's start here. This is where I always like to start. I like to start with the news. Let's see what is in the news. MasterCard denies that it pressured Steam. MasterCard issued a statement claiming it's not required restrictions of any activity on game creator sites and platforms, despite allegations from both Steam and itchio to the contrary. Oh, great. You're going to link me to X? Okay, I'm going to close that. I'm not fucking doing that. God. I should have realized. I should have known. Uh-huh. So this is like the big kind of theme that's been going on, is this whole like the sex games and all this kind of stuff that has been well discussed on many other podcasts, and go listen to those, I guess. I have yet to listen. I haven't listened to all the ones that I wanted to. I know, as always, No Clip does a great job, and so they would have had a extended discussion on it. I remember I got a disclaimer that they were going to have an extended discussion on it at the beginning of their recent podcast. So I'm sure that they had a good one there. But that's been interesting, that the payment processors have had some sort of way to influence what can and cannot be sold on these platforms. I have adult games enabled on Steam. I don't, play adult games on Steam. Certainly, I've never bought one, but I always like to know what is available in that end of things. So as a result, my what's it called? The recommendation chain or whatever, when you can, I don't even remember what they call it. Your queue, your discovery queue. My discovery queue has sex games in it. It's just because I opt into being able to see them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Part of me would love to be libertarian and be like, hey, you should have everything, and it's up to the person to filter things in or out. And it's up to parents to make sure that, that they do their parenting, all this kind of stuff. That's a lot to put on parents too. So I don't know. But I don't know. I guess this whole thing isn't really that simple, because it's more like vulnerable groups who are already vulnerable can get kind of persecuted by other players that have way more power in the relationship. So, and that's probably what's being talked about here, would be my guess. Hey, Toma. But that is a thing that is certainly in the discussions now. So that's fine. There's also this thing on WoW tokens. So I thought this was fun. Blizzard reminds WoW players that it's illegal to buy gold unless you buy it from them, which is fine. I'm totally okay with buying gold. I think, there is no way that I can play World of Warcraft anymore without being able to buy gold. And totally agreed. Purchasing gold from other players puts your account at risk of being hacked and supports companies that steal accounts, operate bots, disrupt the game economy. This I don't really care so much about, but being hacked and all this kind of stuff, for sure. Yeah, my accounts got hacked. Absolutely, they did. Because I bought gold from gold farmers. And then they stole my account and did shit to it. I recovered it, and then I put a 2-factor authentication on it, but it still happened. Characters all naked and stuff. And then WoW tokens came. And I just kept buying WoW tokens because, yeah, I'm not... am I going to farm endlessly, or am I going to buy a WoW token? And then buy potions so that I can go do a raid thing with my friends, 6 hours of the week. Which I guess is going to be more because you do need to spend a little bit more time to get your character ready and all this kind of stuff. So I would spend a little bit more time playing WoW, I guess. The thing here, though, is that they're saying this, but then also for some reason, so in Brazil, they cannot. Let's see, in Brazil, some players on the forums state that they play in Brazil and have no way to buy the WoW token. It's not supported in the country, while others state they play one of the many versions of WoW Classic, which don't support the WoW token. There's there's always going to be winners and losers. There's always going to be people that are happy about it and mad about it. And, the hardcore WoW player that spends all their time grinding things and has the money, but out of principle or just this is their jam, that, they do it the real way. They're going to be upset about it. But, hey man, they're part of the audience is, people who are also work and also have time tied up in all kinds of different things, whether that's video games and also not video games. And, they need a way to participate too. And in a sense, some of this has been designed around the idea that people are going to be, as my alarm goes off, buying gold to participate in the ecosystem. So I don't know. Whatever. I buy gold. Right. There's a BF6 reveal. BF6, I haven't watched any of the trailers or anything like that. From what I hear, people seem happy about it. People are thinking about the original Battlefields. So I don't know. I guess that's a good sign. It feels like we always end up with these kind of ups and downs and returning to, what we liked in the past. Because, the person who's like a video game, buying video games today and all this kind of stuff are also very much the people that were buying that were there is a part of the buyer that has grown up with this stuff, right? And so when you had consoles that were really early on and when they were kids, well, now they're adults and now they're buying stuff, and so you're trying to market to that same consumer, but now they've grown up, and so you end up trying to go back to some of the things that they enjoyed when they were kids. It becomes kind of a place for you to sell to. So I don't know. This seems cool. Battlefield 2 is it the only Battlefield? I think it's the only Battlefield that I've really played. I think I've tried the other Battlefields. But Battlefield 2, by far, was the one that I shelled out 80 Canadian dollars for Battlefield. I feel like that was the price. I really do. I have to go double check that, but that's what I'm remembering on this. Way back when. I have it somewhere. I have the box. I have the CD somewhere. Fantastic game. Love the voice acting. I always found it hilarious. Vehicles, class-based combat, progression systems, and I love being a medic and flying planes to a lesser extent, but mostly being a medic. It was really fun running around with your paddles, bringing people back to life. And I've heard that they're bringing back class-based systems like this, and that there will be a medic, which I'm very happy about, because that's if I was to play this, that's what I would do. I'll probably play this. Asterisk on that. Octopath Traveler 0 as well. Game key card only. Switch One physical version can't be upgraded. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, if you're asking who cares, quite a few folks. Game key cards are physical cards. They don't actually contain the game on the card itself. So the card has a code that initiates the download, meaning it's still a digital game. Yes. Yes. Qualms about digital ownership rights, as well as those whom the whole appeal to getting the physical game copy is not having to spend time downloading it in the first place. It's all irritating. So here's the thing. As I realize that I'm like sitting behind the screen here. I'm sorry, but we don't own these video games. We don't. We just have licenses to these things. Somebody has licensed our permission. We've paid $80 to $100, so whatever the hell we paid, for permission to download this thing and permission to use it. And it's on a contract that says that they can do whatever they want. They can revoke that. They can change it. They can amend it. And we've agreed. You know, that thing that you didn't read? That's what it is. So, like, the people that are writing this, they're writing as if it's like, they're writing as if we own the thing. You know? And I like Rebecca Valentine, whatever. It's fine. But we think about it this way. We think about like, oh, I bought this thing. I own this. You don't own it. We don't own it. And if that's a problem to us, then we need to go fucking phone someone that, you know, that ostensibly deals with this shit. So, you know, you'd want to phone your whatever, MP, MPP, member of parliament, whatever, member of provincial parliament, whatever, whoever regulates the stuff in your jurisdiction. You want to like send them a mail. You know, you want to coordinate people to send en masse to say, or like, you know, consumer rights and all this kind of stuff, right? That's what needs to happen. Until then, you know, we just bitch about, you know, oh no, it's like we just bitch about it and nothing will happen. So I don't know. I guess we just keep bitching. But yeah, I would love to still have physical media. It wouldn't matter because you would plug in the physical media and it I don't know. With like, I guess it depends. If it was physical media and it was like a game that was entirely able to function offline, fine. But more and more, it's like, you know, depending on what you buy, these things are always going to need some sort of connection to the internet to be able to function in some way. So I don't know if that applies to Octopath Traveler 0. And I'm not sure of what those games' features are exactly. So, but it seems like that would be a candidate for offline only. No need for online connection, although, you know, people do it for example, for DRM or digital rights management purposes. So that's that one. Yep. I do not expect Battlefield 6 to come out on the Nintendo Switch 2. Of course not. I don't know. Well, why, I guess. Would be, but I mean, it doesn't fit. It's a little bit aggressive for a Switch. It's maybe it's because it's like so long in development. Okay. I don't know that they really. The focus is on, yeah, that's where Battlefield fans primarily play. Okay, fine. I mean, it's so long in development that like now, so late in the game, you wouldn't do that. That makes sense. What else is here? So this is another one. So the industry's rush to $80 video games has stalled for now. And so this is going to be talking about Outer Worlds 2, which was priced at $80 before coming down to $70. I think like my very quick read on this is like, you know, they would have put it at $80. They said that they're going to price other things at 80. This is $80 US. So for me, it's 100 Canadian dollars. They would have priced all these different things, at as such. But they keep an eye on they call it like net bookings, which is some combination of unearned revenue and maybe accounts received. I don't remember the exact definition. I remember I've talked about the definition of net bookings before, but let's see. Let's ask Google God net bookings. I know it's unearned revenues, but yay definition. Net bookings. Oops, too far. Net bookings is defined as the net amount of products and services sold digitally and sold physically in the period. Net bookings is calculated by adding total net revenue to the change in deferred net revenue for online-enabled games. So, total net revenue, which is revenue from sales, net of, I guess, some costs, not all costs, but some costs of sale. And bookings then would be adding total net revenue to the changed in unearned net revenue for all. So that's right. So unearned revenue is a liability because you've taken on money, right? That's a pre-order. You take on the money, and then you say to the customer, well, 2 months down the road, we'll release this game, for example. That's your obligation to release the game. And so this money that you've taken in, you report it as a liability. And so a liability is an asset, and it doesn't belong on the income statement. And so you can't just add those two things up together. And so instead, what you do is you figure the change from period to period of the net bookings, and then it tells you, over a certain period of time, how much more or less unearned revenue have you gotten, which it's trying to estimate the amount of pre-orders in a certain time period is basically what it's trying to do. So that's net bookings. Okay, fine. So anyway, they would have come to a point where they probably would have looked at it and said, oh, we didn't get as much net bookings as we thought we would with this. Wonder why. Because for whatever reason, Outer Worlds 2 might not be commending that kind of value from people. And again, like the big market trend here is that people are very value conscious. People are increasingly concerned about what is the value for their gaming dollar. Because budgets are being stretched. And particularly in the US, we can say, because we have, we can go to Matt Piscatella and they can give us presentations on this stuff. And so we can say with some certainty that, budgets are stretched towards trying to buy food and beverage and necessities and all this kind of stuff, right? And ultimately, gaming is a luxury. And so, increase price, reduce quantity sold. So, but okay, so $80 isn't working. When Nintendo announced that it would sell the launch game Mario Kart World for $80, it appeared that the floodgates were opening. But, fans were dismayed. Publishers quietly celebrated. Game prices have been stuck at $60 before spiking to $70 in the early 2020s. This is all US. And so, by following Nintendo's lead, it seemed like game makers would be able to get away with jumping to $80. Xbox said that some of its holiday games would also be $80. Right. Randy Pitchford, the boss of Take-Two Interactive's Gearbox Studio, so that real fans would pay $80 for its next game. So And yet, Take-Two announced that Borderlands would sell for $70. And Ghost of Yotei is also priced at $70. And Outer Worlds 2 will also be priced at $70. So I guess, there is one thing that I was saying earlier, but I guess the other thing is that you then also have to factor in what your competitors are doing. And so, you just can't allow price cutting like this because it'll affect your ability to move quantity, because people's budgets are stretched and people have to make choices between things. Beyond just, your people that are still somehow on one platform or another, but not both. Just Imagine 71 says, for me, it's always amazing how many people seem to argue about the price being too high and how well marketing manages to make me feel that it doesn't affect sales. For example, Mario Kart World. I felt like anyone bought it. Never even cared to check the sales number, back that up or not. Yeah. I think the thing is, it's very difficult to generalize. So I'm trying not to. But, at some point, if we're just looking at ourselves and we're looking at video game enthusiasts and all this kind of stuff, at some point, you're going to really want that video game and you're going to do whatever it takes to get that video game. You'll complain about the price being high. You might go into debt. You might have this fantastic thing called a credit card. And you'll just be like, ring it up. I don't care. I'm buying this thing. I'm playing Mario Kart World. And I think actually there is some information from if I go to Substack, is it one of these? It's one of these newsletters. It might be GameFile. Who was talking about this? No, it's from the chats. I had seen this in a chat somewhere. Let's see here. Okay. See more. So, whatever. It's fine. I probably shouldn't show this, but I'm not going to publish this anyway, so that's fine. Bring this here. Man. One sec. I hate dealing with all these different window captures. Okay. StarCraft. Okay, back to Substack. And so what I see here from this report is, so Nintendo just did a sales report. Nintendo is saying it sold over 6 million Switch 2 to consumers. A stunning number. Nintendo Switch 2 sales for April-June was 5.8 million. I think this is units. But for the quarter, they say that their Switch 2 software sales totaled 8.7 million units, bundled games, standalone, etc. That breaks down to 1.5 Switch 2 games per new Switch 2 owner, which looks low to me. Compare that to the Switch 1. Sales through March 31st in 2017, so the first month of sales, were 2.7 million devices. And sales of Switch One games in that stretch were 5.5 million units. So there were 2 Switch games per new Switch owner, is kind of what they're saying. And the thing here is kind of this idea that that for now, it seems like people are buying less games on the Switch 2 as compared to the Switch 1 anyway. So anyway, to bring that back to the Mario Kart World thing, I think a lot of people had bought Mario Kart World, first of all, because it came bundled with the system, and that was the release thing. I think when you get the Legends DNA, you'll get another kind of tranche of people that will pop in, because it'll meet the value proposition to them, I guess, is kind of how I would look at it. And yeah, I don't know how else to go more granular than that, and not really become just a little bit anecdotal. Because I would just say, like, you know, I mean, you know, if I'm going to use an anecdote, I'll just use myself, right? I got gifted the console, first of all. So if you know, if I wasn't gifted the console, now you're talking, okay, in Canadian dollars, then you're talking 850 Canadian dollars. I'm on a family plan. Some other part of my family has Nintendo Switch Online, and so that could be $150 a year, right? Which is basically required to do anything that you want to do on that console. So if I didn't have that family plan, then that would be on me to pay whatever I need to pay, which I'm guessing would be somewhere around 150. So now, like, very quickly, the final price is going to $1,000, and then you're saying buy for me $100 on a game. And so when you bundle it together, yeah, it becomes a little bit cheaper. Thanks. Yeah. Just imagine. Hi, Helen Hunt. I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah. But so fine, I was gifted the console, and that takes a huge kind of burden off financially. And yes, I enjoy Mario Kart World, and that's been fun. And I do think that this Donkey Kong game is a good game. And I do think it looks interesting, and it looks fun. But I personally have not, like, felt an inclination to buy this thing because I think it's too expensive. I don't think it's worth that amount of money. There's a third dimension to this that is time and whatever else you're doing, which may or may not include video games, that people have to compete. People, meaning the people who are selling us these things, have to compete against. And so, you know, not only are you charging me $100 or $80 for, oh no, it's skipping. Oh boy. Not only are you yeah, I don't know why that's happening. I've been doing this 2K thing, which I imagine is causing some issues here, but yeah, time is a real kind of bitch to deal with, right? Then I really have to drop, like, whatever else I'm doing to play this game. Is that worth it? You know, and I haven't really been convinced that's it for Donkey Kong anyway. Because really, like, how much time do I have to play a game? I have like a couple hours a week is what I have right now. You know, so that was that one. Starfield's coming to PlayStation. That's cool. Starfield's all right. That's good. That's Xbox doing. Anything's Xbox now. That's fine. I think that's about it, really. Nothing really else popped out. Nintendo sold 6 million. Yes. Uh, Hideo Kojima refuses to play Konami's Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Okay. Hideo Kojima laughingly dismisses the idea of ever playing it. Why? No, I won't. Uh, whatever. That's a very throwaway article. Okay. There was nothing to report there. He just literally said, no, I won't. I remember this article. I had seen this. So Nintendo of America tried to give Pikachu huge breasts, according to Unearthed interview. I won't show those illustrations to anyone as long as I live, the Pokemon Company CEO Tsunekazu Ishihara-san has said. I think that headline speaks for itself. I don't think I need to really go into it anymore. They kind of look like characters from Cats musical. For example, Pikachu was changed into a character shaped kind of like a tabby cat with huge breasts. Ishihara is asked to clarify what the design looked like, if it looks similar to when women dress up like Pikachu at anime conventions. Yes, exactly. Ishihara said, seemingly clearing up any potential confusion. They presented that kind of design to us for real. I thought it was interesting in a sense of appreciating such cultural differences. However, I didn't want to compete in the overseas market with that kind of thing. No way, that's real. Yeah. Pokemon, of course, going to be released overseas. Yes. All right. Okay. So that was a good one. Upvote. There's one upvote on this. Upvoting's not working. Okay. Couldn't upvote it. Evo's this weekend. That's the other thing. So fighting game fans rejoice. Evo is here this weekend. I will probably end up watching at some point. Usually these kind of events you get some sort of Twitch badge if you watch. I don't know. Seems to be how things work. I think that might be it. Again, with these like, oh man, Hideo Kojima Superman review. It was good. All right. I don't think. Okay. Anyway, I love these quote unquote articles that are just Hideo Kojima said something. Okay. Yes, and we had that direct partner showcase, which I don't know. I felt a little bit deflated about. I didn't really see much there. That there was maybe one thing, the thing with the mouse doing stuff. I don't even remember what the name of that is, but I think that was probably the one thing that caught my eye. I mean, I'm sure Octopath Traveler and all that, but I just, I couldn't even get through the first one, so I don't have an appetite for future ones because I just know I'm not going to get through them. I'm just not going to be capable of getting through them. So that's just where I'm at with it. And Katamari games. I'll tell you what, I was a little bit deflated about that they're still trying to balance between having stuff for the Switch 1 and having stuff for the Switch 2. As somebody who has a Switch 2, right? That was a little bit frustrating to see, but of course, totally understandable because there's a lot of people that still have a Switch 1 and will continue to get Switch 1s because those things are still for sale and people are still buying them. Even though, try as Nintendo might to discourage people from buying it by raising the price of it compared to the Switch 2. We got ads. Well, that's no good. We'll be back in a little bit, but that's gonna do it for the news. We'll be back next week to talk about the news. Meanwhile, we can play a video game like Pokemon Yellow. So let's switch over to that. Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound is going to be cool. I'm kind of looking forward to that. It'll probably be on Game Pass. I'll probably play it there.